How are you doing? In this video, I want to explain the requirements of work type resident status, which is work visa in Japan. So when you want to acquire resident status in Japan, there are requirements to be fulfilled depending on the type of resident status you would get in Japan. So I want to introduce the resident status of engineer and specialist in humanities and international service, which is the most familiar work visa for foreigners in Japan. So if there is a job that you want to get in Japan, you would check whether you have required educational background and required work history that fulfill the requirements of resident status that correspond to the company you want to work for. Requirement number 1, educational background and job history. You should already have graduation eligibility of an educational institution related to the business that you're going to be engaged in. The designated educational institution type is a university, a college, a graduation school, and a vocational school. In addition, an educational institution I'm talking about here includes the one outside Japan, equivalent to the Japanese educational institution based on Japan's school law. Second, work history. You already have 10-year experience in the business you're going to be engaged in. This 10-year experience includes the period that you learned and majored in a particular subject in a certain educational institution that is related to the knowledge and technology about the business. There is a case that you are exempted from the requirements of graduation from a certain educational institution and job experience. So if applicants want to work in tech industry and want to work for the business that need them to have information processing engineering, they are required to pass the exam or hold a certificate about information processing engineering designated by the Minister of Justice in Japan. In short, if you want to be involved with tech industry in Japan, holding a designated certificate will allow you to be granted the resident status of engineering and specialist in humanities and international service and work in Japan without required job history and educational background. Requirement number 2, you have to receive equal to or more reward than the Japanese worker receive in the company normally. The amount of reward that you can get differs depending on the region where the company is located and the type of the industry and the job description. As a rough indication of standard monthly salary in Japan, it is said to be from 180,000 yen per month. However, if the average monthly income of the industry that the company you're going to work for belongs to is less than 180,000 yen per month, you need to prove the company pays less than 180,000 yen per month, then you will be granted the work permit. Requirement number 3, a company you're going to work for has stability and continuity. The management of the company you choose is stable enough to pay adequate rewards to expats, and there's a prospect that the company can run the business stably and continuously. Requirement number 4. Even if you fulfill the requirement first or third, you're not still 100% guaranteed that you can't work in Japan and you are granted resident status of engineering and specialists in humanities and international service in Japan. You have additional conditions to fulfill, like if you have sufficient amount of work in the company, if a company secure a proper place to work in, and if you are not misbehavior. If I mention this way, you may think a small startup that newly established doesn't fulfill the condition of stability and continuity and lacks sufficient resources to keep hiring people for a long time. But if the company can explain the hopeful business outlook, there's a high possibility that you can acquire your work visa.